From the Bent Pixel Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Phone Booth Fighting, a free weekly podcast featuring the former two-time UFC heavyweight champion. What's your name?
Frank Mir.
Frank Mir, that's right. And me, Richard Hunter. We do this once a week for you guys, and you could go to phoneboothfighting.com, see how you can support the show with the Amazon banner, with the official merchandise section, T-shirts discounted right now. We'll hook you up. Lots to get to today, so we're going to dispense with the particulars, and we'll fill you in some other stuff later on. I will tell you that here in just a little bit, Bellator featherweight Pat Curran is going to join us. I spoke with him a little bit earlier today, and he's got a big fight coming up this weekend with McKee. But kicking it off with us, Frank, is a guy I only know to describe as a mixed martial arts man about town. You've heard him as Bellator color commentary, UFC color commentary. I heard him this weekend doing Invicta color commentary. I mean, I may see if we could hire him to do my Wimp to Warrior fight in September, maybe, because you're going to be busy cornering. So
this is true, and Cornerman coming first that day. But
somebody will probably snap him up before then. Actually, and I also just finished listening to him fill in for Luke Thomas on Sirius XM Fight Nation on my way over here to the studio. I'm talking, of course, about Jimmy Smith on the Skype. Jimmy, you're looking good up there. Thanks for coming on with us. How you doing, man?
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, show was sounding good. I enjoyed listening to you on the way in. Is that I know you've done it for Luke before, but are you gonna kind of be popping up here and there with that?
Yeah, I will be for sure. I mean, Luke recently had a kid.
Yeah.
So he's out for like the month, and then he recently had septum surgery on his nose. And so they're like, look, we need you for a long time. So I'm filling in for Luke, and then I'm doing the post-fight show for the UFC this Saturday. And basically, anytime they need somebody on SiriusXM, man, I'm the guy they call. So It's a lot of fun to do.
Was Luke mad at you when you broke his nose, requiring that septum surgery?
He was a little upset. He was a little upset, but like, dude, Frank, you go for the break, right? Man. If they don't, if it doesn't
whatever
break,
it takes to get the job, dude.
Am I wrong?
I like your ambition, knowing that the deviated septum would lead to some airtime. You know,
that's right.
100%, man. 100%, dude.
That's why I wanted to have him on Skype. He offered to come in studio, and I'm like,
Frank. Hell no, not doing that, man.
Yeah, Frank. Frank's gig
actually,
is
that's
safe.
what worries me
Mine's
about
not.
rolling with Drysdale sometimes.
Yeah.
Because Robert has done some commentary color for like grappling matches.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, anytime you have a spot for me, like, let me know. And I look at him, I'm all, fuck that. You're going to take me out, man.
Sign your own death warrant, man.
Yeah, right?
That's right. Now we're going to talk some fights. We're going to talk some mixed martial arts with Jimmy, but actually first we're going to talk some dogs. Yeah. We're going to talk some pit bulls, because anybody who is a longtime listener to this show know that Frank and I are both dog parents, but he has the little guy, the little girls. What are they? Teacup Yorkies?
Yep.
Micro teacup Yorkies. And then I go
2 pounds each.
I go the opposite end of the spectrum. I got 2 pit bulls, just like Jimmy. And look at these faces. Look at this on our Skype screen right now. If you're watching on our Phone Booth Fighting YouTube channel, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're not, go over there and look at this. This is Jimmy's 2 pit bulls, Steeler and Penny, right?
Yeah. This is Steeler right here, the lap dog.
They're beautiful.
He's about 70 pounds. He's a rescue from South LA Animal Shelter.
Excellent.
And she was a rescue from No Kill LA.
Oh, yes.
Rescue. So this guy had about a day left at the High Kill Shelter, so he was doomed. Jeez. So I rescued him.
Dead dog walking.
4 years ago? About 4 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago? Yeah.
Good for you, man. And
so,
I'm sure you've regretted it every day since. I'm sure it's all you can do to keep these beasts from mauling any human they see. Is that right, with the pit bulls?
It's tough. They're absolute sweethearts. And great guard dog, Steeler. He'll let you know if somebody's trying to get in the house. Yeah. But they love kids. They love animals. They're fantastic dogs, man, 100%. And I don't care really what it takes. I don't abandon dogs, man. I don't do that. And I think someone who does that's a horrible person. So
I agree. I completely agree. I got 2 pit bulls myself, and as we've talked about many times on the show, speaking of No Kill LA, because I know Best Friends Animal Society partners up with them. One of my pit bulls that came from Best Friends Animal Sanctuary was one of the dogs that was rescued out of Michael Vick's dogfighting ring. So I know all too well the pit bull stigma and, what these guys, the ghosts of what they deal with. But, we'll get into this story with Jimmy, but I always like to say this as a quick positioning statement. Maybe Jimmy has some thoughts here. But people, when it comes to the pit bulls, first of all, please adopt, don't shop. But when it comes to adopting, I always tell people, Jimmy, if you can possibly have a pit bull, consider it, because they're the most prevalent in the shelters. They're the hardest to adopt because of the stigma. And boy, once you have one, that stigma could not be any more wrong.
They're awesome. They're the most awesome dog. And what I love about them is my guy's about 70 pounds, and I've had Rottweilers and stuff. They're hard to manage if you're not big.
Sure.
Getting a big Rottweiler in the car is tough. He's a manageable size, but they're strong. They're tough. They can take a lot. They can run around outside. You don't worry about them, hurting themselves or anything like that. They're amazingly even-tempered dogs. They're phenomenal, man. I absolutely love them. And when I went to South LA Animal Shelter to adopt this guy, it was 90% pit bulls. I mean, there were just rows and rows and rows of pit bulls. It's heartbreaking because they all want to go home with you, and they're all loving and beautiful, and it sucks, the stigma, man. It's absolutely terrible. And I'm from Long Beach, California, initially, and I know the trouble is I know why the stigma exists in a sense, because a lot of people I knew back then they want the dog in the rap video. They like the idea of a mean dog, and I have a tough pit bull, and they're not treated well, and it's horrible. And so it becomes kind of self-perpetuating because people go to get a pit bull and train it to fight or train it to be mean, and when they're great-natured dogs, and it sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what would be my issue. That's where you probably have to still work on me on this one. After when it's time to get another dog, Jennifer and I really are thinking about getting a pit bull just because we see how loving they are. But I am a little apprehensive of getting somebody else's pit bull by going to a rescue, because I know that their nature is, if you leave them alone, left them in the wild, they're very lovable animals, and their drive to please their human is really high. But that's what you're kind of, when you're shopping, you might actually find it that if the last owner was an asshole, he made that dog an asshole. You know what I mean? And I find that scary, taking up somebody else's baggage.
Can be, but I'll direct you to my dog Mel. I mean, there's no bigger pit bull asshole on the face of the earth in the history of the world than Michael Vick. And you see what I got.
I could probably beat it with an inch of its life. It ain't going to touch me. You know what I mean? He's the most docile.
He's the sweetest guy there is. So, it's just one of those things. I mean, listen, I always say, Jimmy, you're going to have a big, strong dog, okay? So it's like Frank's kid, Cage, is giant for his age. Yep. So when you see him with his friends, he's much bigger than all the other kids. Looks like he's hanging out with younger kids. But he's also a good kid, and that's because he's got Frank as a dad. Now, if you raised an asshole kid, and that kid also ends up, outweighing everybody on the playground by 50 pounds.
You've got a dangerous combination.
But that's all kind of after the fact. That all gets back to you.
Well, that's what I mean about going to the rescue.
Yeah.
Is that now, how much do I know that dog doesn't have a trigger somewhere because the last owner, and that, like Thule. She started to become kind of aggressive. That's my dog. She's 2 pounds, and she's a little aggressive. Just the other day, she was licking my face, and Jennifer went to shoo her out of the way because Jen hates that. And Thule bit her, because she's on top of me, and she becomes real possessive. But she weighs 2 pounds. So her freaking out, it's like, that's no big deal. I always think about that. I'm like, and that's the part about it. It's like, well, what if? What if? A pit bull's capable of, obviously.
Yeah, but I could say what if with you. I still let you ride in my car.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
With guns and knives.
That's right. That's
One
right.
thing,
Jimmy.
What's interesting, and people always tell me with my dogs, I took them to the vet a couple days ago, and people always say, man, your dogs are well trained. They don't go through, they're not allowed to go through a door before me.
Uh-huh.
All this kind of stuff, sit, stay, wait, they understand every command. Because a nip from a pit bull, and you're like, oh man, I used to have a finger here.
Sure.
I'm really on my dogs, and they know I'm the big dog in the house, and they listen to me, and they're well trained. And everybody I know with a little dog, my mom has a little dog, this little terrier, and he'll nip you, he'll bite you, he'll be a jerk.
There's no consequence.
It's this little dog. I'm like, pit bull, you can't let him get away with that.
Right.
So the one thing is, when you adopt a dog, you adopt a Rottweiler, you adopt a pit bull, you're the boss. You make sure they're trained, and they're fantastic. People I know have terrible dogs. It's a Chihuahua, and I'm like, Yeah, but my dog doesn't get away with that because he's huge,
Yeah.
So I'm on, get them well trained, do the discipline, stay
I'm
on
guilty.
it, and they're fantastic.
No,
I'm guilty of that. My dogs are harmless. If my dog right now went into a rage, I don't think she could take out a cat. You know what I mean?
So you let them get away with murder.
Let them get away. Because
Away
like the
with
other day they
murder,
bit
buddy.
my
I
wife.
know
I'm like,
you do,
they
dude.
can't even leave a red mark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, Jimmy's right on, and I lay down the law with my guys, and I'll tell you what, as a consequence, you know who runs my house? A 20-year-old cat. That's who everyone's afraid of.
Really?
100%, man.
Yeah. Now, let's get to the story because we have to. People are probably wondering this is awesome and everything, but why did you just randomly pick Jimmy Smith to come on and talk about pit bulls? Other than the fact that he has two great ones. Well, Jimmy made some news the last couple of weeks because he was. I'm just going to let you tell the story, Jimmy. But basically, you got into a situation where you had to choose between a lucrative mixed martial arts gig, which is your passion, and your dogs, more or less, right?
Yeah. What happened was after the UFC and I parted ways, my manager was in talks with ONE FC. They're making a lot of moves right now, having a lot of great shows. They're a big presence, and they said, "You're great. We think you're fantastic." And this is all secondhand. My manager called me. He goes, "They think you're great. You're fantastic. You have to move to Singapore." That's the deal, Brett. You got to move to Singapore. Everybody works for them, relocates to Singapore. Not easy picking up your life and moving to Southeast Asia. I've been to Singapore a couple times. It's a great town. I was like, all right, maybe I can do this. And as I was doing my research for the move and everything, they're doing the negotiating. Pit bulls are illegal as a breed in Singapore. You can't own them. You can't import them. It's breed-specific legislation. They are banned as a breed. They're also banned in Hong Kong, Australia, and all of Malaysia. So it's not like I can live in Malaysia and commute to Singapore. So anyway, I called a friend of mine who lived in Singapore, and I went, is this like a everybody gets around it kind of thing? And she goes, nope. No, she goes, if you try and import a pit bull, there's no way. They're going to – if it looks like a pit bull, it's a pit bull. And you can't import them. And I had to call my manager and go, look, if it requires a move to Singapore, I can't take my dogs. I'm not leaving them behind. Period. I'm not doing that. I have a really small family. Basically, my mother and my brother are the only ones I have, and they couldn't take them. And I said, all right, then I can't do it. I can't do it. So that was the end of that. But it was, it wasn't an option for me. It's just there is no abandon your dog and then then the conversation's over. Like that. That's as far as the conversation gets.
So you never even humored the idea at all?
Never.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Never.
I mean, because a lot of people career-wise, I mean, they would look to you and go, all right, well, Jimmy, you don't have a wife, you don't have kids. It's dogs. You know what I mean? They're dogs. I can see how a lot of people would probably go ahead and sit there and go, well, I'll get them a good home, Well,
the problem you have with pit bulls, first off, people cross the street to get away from you when you have a pit bull. All right? So whoever's taking them over has to know them and understand them and be prepared for that reaction all the time, or be prepared for – I've seen my dog leap a 6-foot fence like it wasn't there. Yeah. And so if I give it to – I'll find a good home, and they go, well, he growled at the neighbor's cat, so we had him put down. I'll fly home and I'll kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't – this isn't a Chihuahua. This is an animal that if you let him near – the problem is people don't react to them the right way. And so if someone knocks at the door and, your dog freaked me out, and they called the cops, you got to be willing to stand there and go, hey, it wasn't me, it was this, it was that. And if somebody goes, well, it's not my dog, animal control came and got him because he scared the neighbor, I will fly home and I'll beat the shit. Like, I wouldn't leave my pit bulls with some stranger to raise any more than I leave my kid and hope they did a good job. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. Once again, my brother, my mother, family members who the dogs know and I know will take care of them fine, but anybody else, you don't trust it. I'm just, I don't do that, and more than, I don't want to say more than children, but your kid moves out eventually and has their own life and does their own thing. When you adopt a dog, you're saying, I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah,
you're mine forever.
Exactly.
It's true. You're right.
Eventually, your kid's going to be able to feed itself.
Wow.
That type of thing.
My dog will never feed itself.
Right. No, that's man. Yeah. Well. First of all, I mean, I'm just going to say thanks for being that way, honestly, as a human, seriously. Because, I mean, both as a pit bull owner, because that's me specifically, but just generally speaking as a human, because I believe that this is the kind of thing, I always when I get in the argument, pit bull argument, whatever, or somebody wants to say that, well, it's horrible what Michael Vick did, but those were dogs, and what about people? I always say, what about people? Let me tell you something. People who mistreat animals are showing you what they're going to do in the future with kids, with women, with younger kids. I mean,
the way I look at
with anything helpless.
Absolutely.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly. Yeah. It's if they can get away.
Jimmy,
with
there's
it,
someone coming in your house right now. There was someone. Wait a second. Get alert, Steeler. I just saw someone try to come in.
That's somebody Steeler loves. So
they're authorized. Okay. Wait, there's someone else. Okay.
Hey,
all right. As long as they're authorized. Okay.
They're going around because they know I'm on.
Okay. All right. Just making sure it was okay.
But to your point, exactly that. If a person is abusive towards an animal, it's because they can get away with it.
Yes.
And if they think they can get away with you, they'll treat you exactly the same way.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. And those are people. It's funny because Jimmy, I'll prove to you. I was listening to your show on the way in. I was hearing you guys do the Florida Man segment and all that. You know, I always, say to people, when you read one of these stories, you see the headline, pit bull bites or attacks or whatever. I always tell people, read below the headline. Read the other circumstances that were involved, because it's never just the pit bull. It's always the guy left the toddler next to the pit bull who was chained to the tree because CPS was knocking on the door, and he had to hide the unregistered gun that he left on top of his meth lab. I mean, there's a whole lot of dots you can connect there, and it's just the fact that in that particular instance, the pit bull was what he was using to get in trouble with, but that's on him. That's it's the DUIs, it's the
I do
long
find
rap
though I
sheet
feel like
and all that.
you guys are more probably with your finger on the pulse than I am with this being pit bull owners, but I feel like since the Michael Vick case and the documentary The Champions came out, that people in general that I speak to are a little bit more understanding. It's not such a mystique behind the breed, where I think people are realizing, well, if the dog's an asshole, someone trained it to be an asshole. It's not a natural born killer.
So I would say, I'm going to see what Jimmy thinks about that. I would say some yes, some no. Here's the thing. I think for people who are naturally inclined to be compassionate, it's helped because they've learned more about breaking down those stigmas. Sadly, people who are sociopathic, like Michael Vick, or consider this kind of thing entertainment, I don't think it mattered to them one bit. But what do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, 100%. It's the thing is, there are two things about pit bulls. Is A, they're naturally physically strong. They're just strong dogs, and it's been bred in them to basically be protective of the humans they're around.
Loyalty.
And so when you combine those things in a bad environment, I knew in Long Beach drug dealers that had pit bulls in their yard because they knew, their stuff was safe when they weren't there. It's it's an environmental thing where everybody I knew that had a, quote, bad pit bull wanted and raised a bad pit bull. And if you want a fighting dog, doesn't get any better than a pit bull because they're strong, they're loyal, so they'll fight for you. And then when you go in to get them out of the pit, they don't bite you. And so it's a horrible set of circumstances that make people want to choose that breed, and it's a disservice to the breed that is, in a positive way, loyal. My mom watches my dogs, she's there at her house, or she comes over to my place and is house sitting. She goes, I feel very safe with your dogs in the house, that no one can get in without me knowing it. When Steeler growls, it shakes the room, man. When someone's trying to get in your house, very, very safe. And it's taken all these positives about this dog and turned it into a negative. And I think that's absolutely horrible. And to your point about, what about people, you care about these dogs. Well, there are people in worse circumstances. Hey, look, I know a lot of people in bad circumstances that made choices as adults to be there. Dogs don't choose. Dogs are helpless. Dogs are the victims more often. Pets, period, are victims of their circumstances more. And I'll tell you right now that I've known a lot of people, been related to a lot of people who made choices and ended up under a bridge. A dog under a bridge didn't choose to be there. And it sucks, but it's one of those things where, what about people? I've known a lot of people that'll screw you over for 10 cents. I've never met a dog that'll do that. So That's how I feel about dogs, man.
Jimmy, you mentioned the loyalty thing, and I can actually tie this back to MMA. First of all, a lot of fighters that have had pit bulls that I've known, I think that's an interesting natural dynamic, and I've always believed that has happened because I think a lot of fighters themselves, particularly going back as far as your career does, Frank, back before MMA was anything glamorous. It was always a misunderstood profession. Oh, yeah. You were the underdog. You were misunderstood. There was an unfair stigma. And so I think in that sense, fighters relate to pit bulls. And Jimmy, you were talking about the loyalty and why they're used for fighting. I think one of the most disturbing things I learned in the process of adopting Mel, who was my pit that came from Michael Vick's dogfighting ring, one of the stipulations of the adoption was that I had a dog trainer work in the home once a week for the first 6 months we had him. And one of the things that guy taught me that I was unaware of, he said, one of the reasons that these guys use them for the fighting, in addition to their physicality, is the loyalty. He said because that dog believes if you put him in between yourself and an angry dog, he thinks you're in danger and he's going to lay down his life for you. And when I have told that to fighters more than anything else, the looks on their faces, it's like I just stunned them, because I think in their mind that it must just be the height of cowardice. I remember talking to Andrei Arlovsky about this. Of course, he's got his own pit bull Maximus, but we're talking, and I said that, and he just sort of stared into space for a minute, like that was just inconceivable that, anybody that's a mixed martial artist, you go into a cage willingly. That's the whole point, is the test of your own will. You have a way out, but, and you can certainly submit, but, you're testing yourself. But this idea that you would con something, you would fool something, weaker, of a diminished intelligence to do this for you, thinking that your life was in danger, is just, unimaginable.
Who's willing to die for you?
Yes.
Who's willing to? And it's a sickening thing in that there's trust there. You built up trust with this animal, and you're betraying that trust for entertainment at the cost of that dog's life. It's disgusting, and it's an interesting thing to me personally, and a lot of people responded to the story. And the only reason I was telling that story in the first place about 1FC is everybody kept asking, "Oh, should go to 1FC? You should do 1FC?" Yeah. I was like, I tried that. They were a great organization. I have nothing bad to say about them. I just couldn't do it because of my dogs. And people are like, "You're a hero," and I go, anything that a shit person would do, and you don't do it, doesn't make you a hero.
Yeah. Right.
Someone who would abandon their dogs, and my dog loves me, and I love him, and she loves me, and I love her. If I abandon them, I'm a piece of shit to me. Not abandoning them doesn't make me a hero.
Yeah.
Doing that makes you a piece of shit because, they give you their whole life, and I know for a fact if somebody came into this house armed, Steeler would lay down his life. Okay, fine. He'd charge right at him. He doesn't care. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
I'm the same way. Like that's my personality. Everybody tells me people are like their dogs. People are like, you're like Steeler. Steeler's like you. He doesn't bark. He doesn't make a lot of noise. He doesn't do anything until it's rock and roll time. You know what I mean? And then it's, I wouldn't get in his way.
Yeah.
And so it's that loyalty of once I care about somebody, if I got to die right here on this floor to protect them, I'll do that. And the fact that somebody would take advantage of that makes them shit. The fact that I would abandon my dogs for my career is shit to me. A shit person does that. Yeah. I'll do something else with my life. And that's how I feel about it.
I agree. I mean, I'm not congratulating you for being a hero. I'm congratulating you for doing the right thing.
So did that it was like, that was how, oh my God, I can't believe you. And to me, it's like, well, yeah, of course. Like, I mean,
you know what the problem is, Jimmy? It just shouldn't be that unique. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's and it is, and so we recognize it. But I was glad you did it. By the way, I want to thank our listener, Joe Cockrell, because he's the one who actually, I would have probably eventually seen anyway because that video got everywhere, but he's the one who originally alerted me to this video, and so I thank him for that, and Jimmy putting that video up. But I think it's good just that you explained it, just to let people know that, this is my thought and my process, because I think that's maybe a good personal inventory for other people to take too when they see that and go, hey, where am I at on this?
Yeah, it was this weird kind of like, my manager at the time sent me a text. I wish I looked for it. I didn't find it. And he goes, if you don't take this gig with 1FC, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, it was something like, this might be a downward spiral. It's going to be tough for you to get out of. And I wrote back, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't make decisions, and a lot of people, and the feedback was very positive, but a lot of it was, good things are going to come to you because of this, and a better gig is going to open up, and I don't make decisions with that in mind. If it leads to I just don't do commentary anymore because I valued my dogs over that, okay, you make a decision as a man, and you live with it, and you accept the consequences for your actions, and there are consequences to my actions, and I accept them. But what I don't do is abandon my friends, who I've made a commitment to. So it's so funny that people skew it as something good will come back to you. And I go, I don't make decisions with that in my head. That's not, it's I did it because it was the right thing to do, not because, somebody will, I don't know. Frank, you know how this business is. You have no idea. No, I totally agree with you. Your loyalty to a promotion or somebody else will be rewarded ever. You make a decision based on your values, and that's what I did.
Well, that's like whenever does any kind of altruistic type of maneuver. Yeah. If you're doing it because when people look, karma's bullshit. I don't believe in it. It doesn't exist. I've seen fucked up people get away with shit for years and nothing comes to them. I see good people that nothing ever fucking comes to them in their life, even though they're a good person. But I always question people when they do something good. For either A, that's why the whole atheist thing comes to mind, you're going to be punished by something. I'm like, or you're going to be, even the people are like, well, I'm spiritual, I'm into karma. I'm like, so did you really do that because it was the right thing to do, or did you do it because you thought you're going to be rewarded in some way? I got to be honest with you. Your intentions behind it matter to me, because if you're doing it because you're expecting a reward, that's not that impressive. You thought something was going to come your way. You know what I mean? You thought you were going to get up, basically. So you weighed out the alternatives and you looked at it like, this will benefit me in the long run. So once again, you're just a selfish person because you thought karma was going to come and help you out.
Yeah, I do not. That's not how I think, man. I'm right there with you, Frank. I don't think that way at all. And I've seen, horrible people get over their entire lives. It's just a matter of what kind of person you are and what you think. I grew up with dogs. They were my best friends my whole life, were dogs. And so the idea that I let my best friend go for something like that, for any reason, no, it's not ever going to happen.
I'll tell you what I do think it does, though. I don't think there's some sort of otherworldly control over it or anything, but I think it does do something organic for you. I mean, to use an analogy, I keep a clean house. I take my garbage out, and what that means is I don't have roaches. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the kind of thing where if you don't let garbage people around you in a general sense, then it's amazing how you don't ever attract pests, for the most part. And everything's just kind of, what are you smiling about over there?
Are we breaking up? No,
no, Frank.
Is this how you're saying you're not working with me anymore?
No,
man?
Jimmy, this is the thing.
Messed up,
I always tell Frank that he does not give himself enough credit. This is exactly my point to you. You are in my inner sanctum. You're a good person.
What I always say to people, no, I'm a horrible person. I just love dogs. I'm a garbage person. I just love dogs.
Yeah, right.
Every bad person has some good qualities.
Yep.
Well, they are super lucky to have you, Jimmy, and it just makes me feel good. I saw that. Rarely do I see something on Instagram and I just feel good, But Joe sent me that link, and I was like, okay. And I saw it early in the day, and I'm like, you know what? This is a net positive for the day.
On a side note, 1FC, because I know Misha went over there, right?
Yep.
She moved over there, yeah.
How many people are you really going to get because that's not moving to England for a U.S. citizen or moving to Canada or Australia where, all right, everybody speaks the same language. I can get around. That's going to be a hard thing for them to fill that, to sit there and go, okay, I want somebody who, an English-speaking commentary, but they have to relocate their whole life.
Yeah, and hopefully they're not used to throwing their chewing gum on the sidewalk.
Shit, that's difficult. You have to get someone, basically everybody in their life's going to have to make that commitment with them and go, okay, well, now the wife's coming or the husband or, the kids, or we're all going to move to Singapore. It's like, I'm trying to think off the short list in my mind right now. Who can do that? And I can't think of any. If before the thing with the dogs, I thought, well, I don't think Smith has kids. that would be a good call. You know, I mean, no children would probably be the first requirement.
Yeah.
But if you have kids, there's just no way. Like if right now, if you said, "Hey man, we'll give you $100,000 a show," I can't move to Singapore, guys. I have kids. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna move them to Singapore with me. Like there's just no way.
What about that, Jimmy? What do you think?
Well, another thing is that, you know, Misha moved over there. Misha's like a VP over there. Commentators, we're not used to like making that kind of commitment. You know what I mean? Like, you're not asking me president of the company. I'm not getting equity, you know, whatever the deal is. Commentators are usually, you know, you work for a gig for a while and then, you know, work for others, or you work for multiple organizations or whatever you do. So it's a strange commitment from a job that usually doesn't have that level of commitment. And
I mean, I worked for a lot of Russian organizations. I never moved there. I just, you know, hey,
Yeah.
I leave on Thursday,
one.
shows
Yeah.
on Saturday. I'll be there for the weigh-ins. You do your homework the night before, and then you fly home Sunday, you know?
Yeah, much more of a commitment. And the amazing thing is other than the pit bulls, I'm the kind of person, like, I have a home here, I have everything, and I'm like, okay, I could, if it weren't for the dogs, I could have done it. That's the weird thing, is that, yeah, in the position I was in, I was able to do it except for the pit bulls, and that, once again, non-negotiable. Yeah. But it's one of those things where they want everything in-house. That's where they do all their promos and videos. And as far as I know, once again, I didn't do any of this discussion with 1FC. It was all through my management and stuff. Good people. I have no complaints about them. They were willing to help with the move and moving expenses and all that stuff. It wasn't on them at all. And they don't control Singapore's policy on pit bulls. There's nothing they can do about it. So it was just one of those things where the circumstances themselves didn't work out, and there's nobody to blame. But you make your choices, and I make my choices, and I made my decisions, and hey, you move forward, man. You move forward with the best of intentions. That's all you can do, man.
Maybe they ought to just go ahead and lift their breed ban. That'd be one way to get Jimmy over there. How about we do that?
Well, I mean,
would be nice.
Yeah.
How long of a flight is that? I mean, would it be feasible to fly in a couple days before the show?
It's a mother. I've flown back and forth to Singapore before for Discovery Channel stuff when I was with Fight Quest. That's how they do all the press tours and everything. And it's a mother of a flight. But if they want to do 2 shows a month, that's one hell of an expense for them that I don't think they want. I think it's easier to have somebody who lives in Singapore. But yeah, how they deal with it moving forward, I don't know. I know Morrow's out of Australia, which is a short flight for him. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they're going to fill that gap.
Yeah, well, I think it's 8 or 9 hours from Australia, right?
Is that right? I'm not sure.
I think so.
It's not. It's closer from Australia, but it's. Yeah, it wasn't. I remember. It was Eastern Australia was a pretty quick flight, 3 hours or something.
Oh, okay, even less. Because I think one time I was taking a flight to Australia, and one of the cuts off because I was in the UK and was to go through Singapore. I'm like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it added all kinds of, people buying you the cheapest ticket possible to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Always, man. That's
it's always the worst.
Yeah.
That's why now I'm like, screw it. Give me a stipend. Give me a certain amount of money towards my ticket. I'll book my own ticket.
Frank gets super excited when he sees he has to squeeze into an economy seat for an overseas flight.
Yeah.
Awful, man. 100% awful, dude. But
do you have your tricks?
It's where they want an American audience. They have to get a commentary team that American fans connect with, and we'll see how they do with that, with the requirement to live in Singapore. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. I can't think of, like I said, like right now as we were talking, trying to think of people that are good at commentary who could fit that bill. And I'm like, everybody I can think of either has a kid or, you know what I mean? Like, how many people don't have a life established? Like, to get them, even when I worked for the ACB, if they had said, hey, you got to move to Grozny, that would have been a deal breaker. I'm like, no, I'm not moving my wife and kids out of the States. You know what I mean? Like, I'll fly there and fly back and I'll make that. But shit.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Jimmy, just if we have a few more minutes, but thanks for doing this, by the way, too. I know you had a busy day, and it's great having you on the show. But I did want to ask you as well, again, because I was listening to the show on the way, and I just thought you had some really interesting opinions about this. You were talking about all the streaming services with fights now. I mean, of course, UFC Fight Pass has been around for a long time. They've now added ESPN+. DAZN is out there. So I was going to ask you just in general your kind of overview thoughts about that, because I'm as somebody who is in theory on board with the idea. I love the idea of UFC Fight Pass and the whole library's there for me and all that kind of stuff. It's getting downright confusing now with what do I need? Can I get by with 2 of the 3? Wait a second, I thought I was going to watch this, but now I found out this is over on that thing. How do you see it these days?
The problem and this is talking mostly to casual fans, because like I have to have all this stuff because I have to know everything. I'm on SiriusXM. I have to talk about all these fights. I don't really have a choice. A lot of people see it as you have to be a pretty hardcore fan to sign up for ESPN, which has a bunch of niche sports on it, but you generally don't sign up for ESPN Plus unless you have a reason to do it. It's taking a sport that I think was breaking into the mainstream and kind of putting it back in a niche, because only the hardcore fans are going to pay a monthly to a couple of streaming services for it. And a lot of the people who are paying for the streaming services tell me I'm less likely to pay for pay-per-views. I'm already paying out of my pocket every month. That extra $70, is it really worth it?
Yeah, it comes down to principle too.
For fights that were free last year, you know?
Yeah, I think a principle factor starts to hit in when you sit there and go, shit, man, I'm already paying this much. I don't want to pay more. Even if it works out less in the overall scheme of things, I think the more times you hit your pocket, I think people get resentful.
Yeah. One of the things that has confused me, and I didn't hear you talk about this specifically today, Jimmy, I might have missed it, but, you know, UFC Fight Pass at the $10 a month price point that has been established with the UFC as like their digital platform, and you know you had your pay-per-views and then your fight night cards, and then the third tier below that you would have Fight Pass exclusive cards, and they'd show the prelims and all that. Well, with this new ESPN Plus app, it's very difficult to determine exactly where that leaves Fight Pass.
Yeah, it's weird. The only thing that you know, somebody like me, I use Fight Pass a lot for research on stuff. When I have to research a fighter, and did Tisha Torres, how did that fight go? Like, I may have the result, but I got to go look at the backlog. It's pretty much a fight library to me now.
Okay, but
I go back and
so here's
besides guys like us.
Yeah.
I was trying to think that because that's what you brought up the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, I use still Fight Pass because it still has a catalog of all these fights, and I think that besides people like us, like Cage, is just now my son, who's the oldest of the boys. He's now going back. He's 13, and so all of a sudden now it's more of an interest for him to go back and look at fights because he's not that he's new to the sport, but his interest in the sport has become more serious. But I mean, besides that character, somebody who's new to the sport, they want to look back for like, how often are you, as a hardcore fan, are you going to continuously go through catalogs or rewatch fights you've already seen? You know, I
can go you one better. Here's my question now, and this is for guys like us who use.
Now, does your son like babyface Frank Mir? Or does he like beard Frank Mir? You know, maybe he goes back and he sees babyface dad when you first started, man. You know, when you were clean shaven, had the babyface look going.
He does sit there. There's times he'll come up to me and go, "Dad, you did this." He goes, and this. He's talking to me, and every once in a while I'll be like, I'm not that punchy, dude. I was there. I remember.
I remember that.
I kind of remember.
Well, he kind of remembers, but full disclosure, Jimmy, sometimes I'll bring up some past opponent, and Frank will kind of look off into the ether like, did I fight that? Yeah. I did fight that guy. I did.
A lot of fights, man. Catch up to you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I'll go you one better on that, because even amongst the three of us, so let's say we use Fight Pass for research and all that. Here's my question now. This weekend, Rose Namajunas is going to fight Jessica Andrade. In the past, 30 days later, that gets parked over on the 60 days or whatever. That gets parked over on the Fight Pass Vault library. Where's it going now? Does it go to Fight Pass or does it go to ESPN Plus library? Who gets it? I don't know.
That's an excellent question, because I know personally, sometimes watching a fight live, I go, it's going to be on Fight Pass in a week. If I don't have a reason, if I don't have an interview coming up soon, something like that, I know back in the Fight Pass days before ESPN, I would sometimes say to myself, it's going to be on in a minute. I'll check it out then. And where it goes, it does matter a lot.
Well, essentially, it almost comes how it was. I remember, some of the big boxing matches always on pay-per-view, but depending on who put it on, I'm like, I'll just wait till next weekend. It'll be on Showtime or be on HBO or whatever. I'm like, I'll save the $50. You know what I mean? I don't need to see it blow for blow as it happens. I'll read about who won. All right, cool. And then I'll actually enjoy the fight later on, so it makes sense.
All right, let's go one step deeper and down this rabbit hole before we let Jimmy go, because you got me on this hits a spot with me. I heard you say, did you say you purchased the pay-per-view Holloway and Poirier? Did you stream it? Purchase?
Yes, I did. I purchased that one, yeah.
Okay, here I got a question for you, because I actually saw it at a bar, so I didn't do the home purchase. Did it disappear after 24 hours the way they always have on Fight Pass?
I don't think it did. I don't believe it. I'm trying to remember. I don't believe it did.
I'm wondering, like, if you could log on now since you bought it, if it's unlocked for you and it's there, like if you want to go back and watch it. Because
I know with DAZN I did. I know with DAZN with Canelo Jacobs.
Yeah.
I rewatched it again because I don't know if you guys know the big controversy about the commentary. I got in trouble with this.
Yes. I did hear about that. Yeah.
I was going to be on SiriusXM breaking down Canelo Jacobs. When I study them, I usually mute them.
Yeah.
Because I'm studying, I don't like the commentary kind of getting in my way.
Yeah.
So anyway, this big controversy came about the commentary, and I went, I didn't listen to the commentary. So I had to rewatch it again, and it's right there on DAZN. I know that. For DAZN, save it, because I went back, watched it again, and everything was fine.
But
so
it's
still on there.
Yeah, but you didn't pay an additional fee for that, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay, no, I'm talking about, like, if you bought a pay-per-view off of, like, the way Fight Pass and the way it was up until the ESPN Plus deal, for whatever reason, you had 24 hours to watch it, and then it was gone. And I've asked Dana White about this, Eric Winter back when he was running Fight Pass, and I don't know if I'm not asking the question right or they're not trying to give me a straight answer, but I never got a straight answer on why it was, because if you, let's say you bought it on DirecTV and you recorded it on your DVR, it doesn't disappear after 24 hours.
Forever, yeah.
It lives there, right? But Fight Pass did not have that. And that, to me, I never understood it because it's going to be there eventually anyway. You're paying for it. And I like to be able to watch it the next day or the day after that, sometimes rewatch these things to talk about on the show. So I was wondering if that restriction was carrying over to ESPN Plus. I don't know if it is or not. A lot of questions.
Why they do that? Is that a technical thing or a business side?
Do you know, Jimmy?
I don't know. And the only thing I can think of, you're not selling any more pay-per-views. So it could be on the business side, but you're not buying any more pay-per-views. You bought it once. Even if you missed it, you're not really able to buy it again.
Right.
And the more, and to me, kind of the more I have, the bigger backlog I have, the more interested I am in that person's next fight or the fight after. And so just the more fights I have, the more I want to watch. That's just the way I. Yeah. So I don't see the upside at all of not letting people essentially keep a pay-per-view. I don't get that.
Yeah. I mean, do they think, like you said, do they think you're going to reorder it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe there was a concern that you could show it to other people, but how is that any different than having it on your DVR?
Anyway, pretty much. I mean,
it's just when your
there's
password.
So much streaming now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your DVR is online. Like if I log into your DirecTV account, I can
Sling TV.
Yeah, Sling TV. I can see whatever's recorded. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's. I mean, I love the technology. I'm actually somebody who is on board with the theory of the idea, but I do think that a lot of this stuff, the targets need to be narrowed. It can't be a spread out. It's like podcasting. Once upon a time, there was one guy who did the first podcast. Now everybody's got one. It doesn't make them all good.
True, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make them all good. The cream will still rise to the top, but you have a much tougher task in trying to get your message to people because there's a lot of options. You can follow Jimmy on Twitter, Jimmy Smith MMA. In fact, if you're not watching on our YouTube channel, go to at Jimmy Smith MMA on YouTube and look at that profile picture. That's Penny and Steeler right there.
You bet.
And the profile picture. Well, thanks again for taking the time, man. And seriously, just from one rescue pit bull owner to another, just thanks for doing that. Thanks for being you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys, all right?
All right. We'd love to get you on again sometime, so stay in touch.
Anytime, man. You have a good one, Frank. Always good seeing you, bud.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. We'll see you. All right, Frank, we are pulling off some high technology right now. Joining us.
You just gave us
Yeah,
like
you
I've
and
done
me.
anything besides sit here.
Well, you didn't break anything, and that's a plus. Joining us on the Skype screen right now is not one, not two, but all three members of the Well-Read Comedy Tour. I'm talking about from left to right on your screen if you're watching us on the Phone Booth Fighting YouTube channel. That's Corey Ryan Forrester. That's Trae Crowder right there, and that's Drew Morgan next to him. So welcome back to the show, guys. Last time we saw you was in your dressing room here in Vegas, and Trae's done the show and all that. But you guys have a new record out, a new live comedy record that you did in Kentucky. We're going to talk about that, but we wanted to get the guys on to promote that. So first of all, welcome on. And you guys are in different now my understanding is you're all in the same house, but nobody likes Corey, so he's having to Skype in from a different room. Is that what's happening? Or are you somewhere?
Spartan.
Oh, that's what it is. Where are you, Corey? You're not with the other guys.
No, I'm not. I'm at my house in Chickamauga, Georgia, home for a couple of weeks in between tour dates, just chilling out and working on some stuff, mainly my mental. You know how it is.
Sure. Yeah. What you say you're working on some stuff now? What is that? A home patch job you got over your shoulder? I see there's like some.
Oh shit, man!
What is that? Like some.
Yes. Dude, yeah,
Did
that's the first hole I ever punched in my new house.
I thought it was a more sexual story because it's right over the headboard.
You can't
I was like,
that up.
I can't. But I'm so glad that you just said that because 2.5 weeks ago that happened, and my wife was like, "This shit's gonna get fixed in like 3 days, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, fucking A." And then I went back on. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I curse?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
And I went back on the road, and I totally forgot until you just said something. But yeah, that's a home patch job I got. Yeah.
Did you punch a hole in that wall because Amber told you don't know how to fix anything?
No, I understand. Actually, you know what? It wasn't 100% that, but it definitely snowballed from probably something like that.
Yeah.
I was right, though. I can tell you that. I was right. I showed the wall.
were you standing on the bed throwing a body shot, or was that like?
I was standing. I was standing right here.
Oh, okay,
and I was like, God damn it! And I fucking like cross hooked like that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
Oh
Yeah.
my!
This house was built in 1912, man. That shit was built to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good shot.
Oh my gosh! And I noticed that right next to the sign there was like one of those peaceful motivational phrases hanging over the bed. That didn't even keep you calm enough not to punch the wall.
Yeah, it says you have my whole heart for my whole life, which is bull.
The whole time.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
barely have my whole heart.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get that fixed. All right, and then Drew and Trae are out there in L.A. Now let's start first with the new record, guys. Yeah, I'm right. You recorded it in Kentucky, right?
Yes, sir, Lexington.
Yep. I've listened to this whole album. Streamed it on iTunes, and it is hilarious. I mean, Frank, you and I talked about how funny these guys were as a trio when we saw them live, and that was not a one-off because the record's real good. So I don't know. Tell us about the record as far as how far back did you guys record it and that sort of thing, and out promoting it now, and what's going on with it?
We recorded it in September of last year, so September 2018 in Lexington, Kentucky at Comedy Off Broadway, it's called, which is, in our opinion, one of the more I would call it underrated clubs in the country. There are a lot.
It's
of
a top tier.
Know how good of a room it is, but it doesn't get the same level of adoration as a comedy club room as places like the DC Improv or Comedy Works in Denver, or Acme in Minneapolis, or those types of clubs. But we've always felt like it's right there with them, and we just have never not had a awesome show at that club, so it just seemed like a good place to record an album at.
Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it's really well done, and it's a lot of fun to hear all three of you guys, on the record, because it occurred to me, we've been knowing you for a while now, but doing stand up, I always think of stand up comedy as a solo effort. Frank's done some stand-up now, and it's, just you on stage alone. But with you guys, I mean, you're kind of in business together. I mean, it's like you each do your own sets, but it did occur to me, like, one of the reasons I got out of a band and into stand-up comedy was I didn't like dealing with other band members. You guys kind of have to do
we're
that.
already there. Trust me.
Yeah,
we're hoping that this record really
songwriter.
Yeah, we're hoping that this record gets us enough recognition to where we can do our own thing, because that's frankly why I'm in Georgia right now and not with them.
I mean, look at him punching holes in the wall. You think it's easy to tour with a guy whose head's that big, ego wise and literally?
Man, no
I
kidding.
punched that hole in the wall because I miss Trae. Truth be told.
Boy, I can tell who's the Keith Moon of this outfit. This is the
Buddy,
yeah.
yeah. His face just looks like the moon. Yeah, and he pulls his butt out a lot, so yeah, it works on every level.
Now, what about?
He's also always talking about Keiths.
He's always talking about what?
Keiths.
He's
got an Uncle Keith. He likes Keith Whitley.
Oh, yeah.
It's all true.
A lot of Keiths in your life. All right. I would have guessed a lot of guys with the middle name Lee and Wayne, but I didn't see Keith
both,
come.
buddy.
Okay.
I promise you.
All right.
You ain't never met a Keith Lee Wayne?
Now, anybody with three first
Wayne.
names, I red flag. Now, what about you guys? Seem like you're always out touring. I was looking at tour dates on the website and that kind of stuff. How much longer till you guys hit the road again?
We're in. Is it New York that we're going to next, or Jacksonville?
No, Florida next weekend. I don't know when this come. Will this come out, Richard? Like immediately or in like?
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
A day or two.
Everybody will see it tomorrow.
So not this weekend, but next weekend we're in Florida, Jacksonville and Orlando.
Jacksonville Friday and Saturday, which I think is the 17th and 18th and the 19th in Orlando. And then 2 weekends after that, or 1 weekend in between, off. Then we go to New York for the last weekend of May, first 2 days.
Yeah, and in between those things, not for nothing, Frank, I'm going to see you at StarCast, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're going to be there.
Yeah, Conrad's a really good friend of mine. He's been on our podcast several times. I'm actually going to hang out with him on Friday, and I just saw that he announced you were going to be there, and I was like, oh, Frank, yeah, that's my boy. That's the champ, so I'll hang out.
Yeah, come hang out, man.
What is this event, Frank?
It's pro wrestling
Where?
here in town.
Oh, it's here. Oh, you know what? It's tied into the AEW thing.
Yep.
It sure is.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's going to be a huge show. They sold out the MGM Arena for that
and
show.
I think Chuck might be there too.
Okay.
Because I know I don't know if they because I gave Chuck the information. I passed it on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it got sold up.
Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Chuck Liddell.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Well, good. Well, we'll have you. We'll see Corey out here then.
Yeah. You help me with my act. We're looking for. I got to figure out a few more moves that I can transition over from the fight world over into the.
I got you, buddy. If you help me with a way to fuck my house up a little bit more, we'll just trade
Knees and elbows, buddy. They go knees and elbows.
I need to know how to whoop my porch's ass so we can trade secrets.
We'll put it in its place.
Just so y'all know, he's also whipped his truck's ass before.
I have whooped my truck.
Not just his house. He's also punched his truck a few times. So.
To be fair, though, I'm the only one who ended the goddamn truck.
Yeah, then Drew wrecked the truck right after that. So.
Man, what?
I couldn't stand to see Corey abuse it any longer.
How did the truck get on the wrong side of you?
We were driving back from Columbus
Kentucky.
or Cincinnati, somewhere.
We were going.
Kentucky.
Well, we were coming from Columbus, going through Kentucky.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Corey's driven a big leg of the way, and asked me if I could drive, and I said yes, regretfully.
And then
I
5 minutes later,
I wasn't drunk or anything. I was tired. I was exhausted. It was raining. We just hit a marine spot, a hydroplaned, but was also so tired that when I hydroplaned, I'm certain I slammed on the brakes. I don't remember. There was a big rig involved. We flipped like 3 times, and we were fine. And then we told the cops Corey was driving because I had smoked weed earlier and was very nervous.
I see. Well, I guess that's one way to work out a plan.
Well, I guess
Good
thank God
Lord.
you guys had your fucking seatbelts on, huh? You flip a truck. I've never been in a vehicle and flipped it before.
Yeah. One of you wasn't sleeping in the bed of the truck or something. Were you?
So you've done this multiple times, but in flipping vehicles?
yeah, man, that was my first was when I was 16. I got a DUI, and I unfortunately I had the window rolled down, so my head smacked against the ground like 3 times. Then my head went through the windshield, and I had to shave my head. But it's probably
still
good
ain't been
because
able to patch that pothole to this day. Where his head hit the ground.
Yeah,
I had to
typically
shave my
when
head,
your
bro,
head
it
goes
was so
off.
much.
Just give up.
Maybe that's why his head looks like that. It's just been swollen since he got in that car wreck.
I've just had a concussion that I haven't dealt with for 16 years.
That's a pretty solid chin you got there, buddy. You might have picked the wrong career.
My
Oh, he
chin?
can take some punishment, I guarantee
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could hit back very good unless you were, a wall, but I can take a hit for sure.
Yeah, he'd be a cabbage type guy.
Yeah, Wesley.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
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 I feel like your only problem would be stamina. I think you could punch hard, and I think that wall would agree with me. I just feel like after you hit that wall, you had to go smoke a cigarette.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Well,
for
you just
sure.
sit there and let
I'm
the
very
guy-
butterbean.
You let the guy gas himself out, beating down, and then when he's tired, you only got to throw 1 or 2.
100%.
Well, this is awesome because
That's right.
Because even talking to the guys before we signed on the air, like all the back and forth that's going on, and then the patched wall and the rolling the trucks and everything, like it lets you know that the well-read comedy guys are the genuine article. You know, this isn't a deal where they find one of these pictures of the Duck Dynasty guys from 10 years ago and they're all clean shaven. You know, like I'm just setting up the microphones, hearing this, going, man, this reminds me of my mother's Mississippi family. Like these guys are country.
Yeah, dude, we're fucking real stupid and proud of it.
So, hey, on that note, Richard, since this has mostly been a conversation about how much of a lunatic Corey is and everything.
Sure.
Why don't you tell Corey and Drew what you told me last night? Because I told them.
You have not teed them up?
No, I just told them you had an amazing piece of information to share with us. That's literally all I told them.
Well, I will tell you on my end, I have purposely not told Frank this story either because I knew he was going to enjoy it, and I wanted to get his candid reaction. So.
I'm glad you did it this way. I hate when you tell me, I got a great story, but we're going to save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
yeah,
just don't fucking tell me.
Yeah, no, you're
That's
going to like.
That's what I did, Frank. So.
That's a better way to do it, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right, here we go. For those who don't know, if you listen to this show, you know, but if you're just tuning in for the first time or whatever, you came to us through the well-read dudes, I have a side gig, which is running a brothel. And that's what qualifies as a legitimate day job in my house.
You're a straight-edge pimp?
Yep, that's exactly.
Named Dick Hunter.
Yeah.
Nice, though.
Yeah, so that's my stable employment is running a brothel here about an hour outside of Las Vegas.
I'm glad I'm not coming there in 2 weeks. God damn it!
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You gave us fucking T-shirts.
Let him finish.
All right, my bad.
Yeah, no, it has paid many dividends for material for stand up. So
on the
we've
show,
talked a
man.
lot about it on the show. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the brothel that Lamar Odom almost died in a couple of years ago, and we've all talked about that. And yeah, you didn't know that, Drew? If you wanna hear my voice on a 911 call, look it up on YouTube.
Shut the fuck up. Was you?
Yeah.
I go you one better.
We even have the reenactment. We
I was
have the actor.
Say, do you know anybody else in your life besides me who has actually been portrayed in a crime scene reenactment, like on one of those tabloid shows?
My uncle, but
my mom like a couple. Yeah, I mean,
wrong group of guys asked that.
That's true.
You forgot who you was talking to.
I did. I'll send you.
Which side of the family?
Yeah, I'll send you the link to mine. But anyway, yeah. So that was a couple of years ago. All right, so this just happened. I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks back. So I'm out at the brothel, and one of the hookers comes running into my office beside herself with excitement. I've never seen this woman this animated. And she has her phone in her hand. She's waving it. She's yelling, "Richard, oh my God, look, it's unbelievable." Well, she shows me on her phone Corey Ryan Forrester's Twitter page.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
It's Savannah.
Now.
No shit.
Now, he's wearing...
who?
Yeah. he's wearing a T-shirt. He's wearing a phone booth fighting T-shirt that has your face and my face on it, Frank. So, unbeknownst to anybody else in the whorehouse up until this very moment, she is apparently the world's biggest Corey Ryan Forrester fan. And
that is my base.
My stock has risen in her eyes because there is Corey wearing a T-shirt with my face on it. And so I go ahead.
I can't tell you how happy you've made me right now.
Hold on. What's she up to? After that, Richard.
Yeah, and I'll have to be just a tad careful because there was some HR issues and stuff involved with the she violated some company guidelines and I don't know if that's being disputed or not, so I have to be careful about what's it. But what I will say is this, Corey, we had to go a different direction a few weeks back and let her go, and So I guess the amazing punctuator to the story is that your female fan base appears to be along the lines of women who get fired from being prostitutes.
God damn it. I'm literally beside myself right now. That's unbelievable.
Well, you seem to have a hint of familiarity with when I brought this up.
I was just excited. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking there's some recognition going on.
I thought I saw it too. Yeah. So
there was definitely a light switch that went on.
Yeah.
I'm so glad my wife doesn't know what podcasts are.
Yeah. Oh no, don't worry. My wife has never seen a single podcast. Rightfully so. I'd be on the couch. You'd be just laughing at these stories. I'd be in trouble.
Go. What Drew? You froze up there for a second. Go ahead.
There is. I don't want to. It's not wrong. At some point, I recognize that a lady of the night followed me and Corey and had been interacting with him. I don't know if it's the same. It feels like it might not be. I mean, it feels like Corey might have more than one. But that was all that was. We just one time on Twitter, like little teenagers, we were like, "Oh shit, look at that! Somebody works at a brothel followed you."
Uh huh.
There's probably more than one. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't.
You got to pass the time somehow. They're big fans of podcasts out here.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Drew. I mean, I hate to be the one to break the news to you, but in all that excitement, I didn't hear Drew Morgan's name dropped once. I mean, it was all Corey all the time.
But
I didn't think I could be happier.
When I tell you, I never thought it would have been.
Well, I
was just owning that I had pointed out to Corey that she followed him. I was just owning that.
Oh, okay. You were probably thinking, Drew, that she might need someone to witness to her, and you were just letting Corey know that if she needed to hear the word, that you could help out.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think he froze up for a second.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you guys hear us okay, Trae? They froze up for a minute. We got a good connection with Corey. Drew,
I'm still here. I got that good Georgia Wi-Fi.
Everybody know that my man's Corey didn't even know.
Oh, yeah, no.
we're getting a little choppy here.
There's no chance that this girl, no association with the brothel,
huh? You mean as far as a rehire?
Right.
Well, like a lot of big corporations, I think we have one of those things where you can't reapply for a period of time, 90 days or something like that. So,
what does it take to get kicked out of a whorehouse?
Well, that's a fair question. Now, I'm thinking, though, just off the top of my head, I mean, I'm just brainstorming here for a second, guys, but I know you guys sell well-read comedy merch, probably after shows and that sort of thing. You may need a lady to help run the merch table. Maybe she goes on the road with you.
Yeah, we can pay her with the 3 fucking shirts we sold in Salt Lake last week. That'll be great.
Well, at least she has a little side gig. She could probably make some extra money.
I have a feeling she's used to a lot more income.
Boy, that would be the ultimate. All these touring acts sell VIP meet and greet packages and stuff like that. Think of the add-ons you could do with this one.
Only in Vegas, though, I think. Y'all are blessed to have the legality there.
Yeah, because you guys would be way above ever doing anything illegal. So, yeah it's a good point, Corey. Yeah. All right, I tell you what. While we have you guys for just a few...
Oh, my cousin will jack you off if you buy a shirt.
How much are the shirts? No.
Or if you don't.
Whatever. He's a cool dude. Yeah.
All right, while we have you guys for just a few more minutes, I'm going to bounce an idea off of you because I need you guys, your input on this, because Frank has heard me crow about this for 2 years now running, about my one-man mission to get country troubadour Jason Isbell on the podcast. And the way that I originally saw Trae was Trae opened Jason's show that I went to here in Vegas. I knew of Trae before, but was a real fan after I saw him live and everything.
That's where I got engaged.
Where?
At that show.
That same show?
Yeah. Yep. Jason Isbell was the first person to tell my wife congratulations, and she almost told me she wasn't going to marry me because I think she was already too happy.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, you felt the magic. In fact, and Trae and I saw each other at the Hollywood Bowl, right? Like, ran into each other a couple months ago at a Jason show. So anyway, here's why I bring all this up, guys, because I've been trying forever to get him on the podcast. Now, here's what's happening. I don't know Jason personally, but I'm dealing with a publicist. And I think in the publicist's mind, she can't quite figure out why a mixed martial arts podcast called Phone Booth Fighting is going to want to have Jason Isbell on. And, of course, I'm trying to convey to her that we're about a lot more than just that, right?
Well, just tell him that you also own a whorehouse.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll help, Drew. No, here's what I've done.
He's got all kinds of songs.
I mean, shit, we've had Paul Stanley. I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying. Paul Stanley invited us to his house for a podcast. And believe me, I mentioned
we're not
it.
a big deal, but kind of a big deal.
I mentioned it to the publicist.
Frank Mir's the fucking champ.
Yes.
I'm afraid of Isbell right now.
I feel like if I could get to him directly, he would get it. He'd be all about it.
I agree with that 100%.
All right, let me show you what I've got. Here's my idea for my 2019 campaign, because I think you guys will appreciate this. So hold on, I grab my bag here. Hold on. Here's what I'm going to try to do.
I didn't know it was 2019. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you guys tell me if you think this will work, right? So what I know about Jason is that he is a fan of progressive politics and the Atlanta Braves, right? I know those two things about him. So here's my plan. If he will agree to do our podcast, I'm going to trade him this Atlanta Braves hat autographed by former President Jimmy Carter.
Holy shit.
You see what I did? I took the progressive politics and the Atlanta Braves, and I've married them together, and
Is that really signed by Jimmy Carter?
And I even,
no shit.
Yep, and I even have 20-year-old photos of me getting it signed as proof of authenticity.
No shit.
Isbell's probably at Jimmy Carter's house right now.
Yeah.
No, but that's a great dude. Holy shit, that's amazing.
What do you think? Do you think he'd go for that?
I know he would.
All right. I'm gonna go see him at Red Rocks in September. So I'm gonna put that on. I may hashtag you guys. So throw me some.
You happen to have another one besides this?
We got other shit going on.
What's that?
Nothing. I said we're doing the podcast. It's not like we don't have other shit.
Yeah,
going
exactly.
on. We're busy men about town.
Exactly. All right. Well, I've been workshopping this idea, so I wanted to bounce that off of you because I think I might have some success with that. That's going to be my plan.
Seems like a fucking winner to me, man.
Thank you.
That's one of the best pieces of merch I've ever seen in my life. That is like the liberal redneck hat.
Yeah. When you think about it.
That one's kind of sad you actually give it up.
Are you just going to tell the publicist or start a Twitter campaign? I missed it.
Great question, Drew. See, I'm thinking I've run into a roadblock with the publicist.
Yeah, I think the publicist is a dead end now.
Yeah, you're right.
It already happened.
I need a grassroots campaign. My idea.
Go on Twitter. We'll retweet it, man. That'll be rad.
Okay. My idea is to have so many random celebrities plug up his Twitter feed until he eventually just acquiesces. I'm like, all right, I get these guys off my case. All right, so let's talk about, again, you mentioned the tour dates. Everybody can go to wellreadcomedy.com, pick up the new album, Well Read, live from Lexington. A very funny record. You can stream it. Did you guys make physical copies? Are there CDs? Are there vinyl? All that at the merch table?
We have download cards that we sell at shows, but no, there's not. We were thinking maybe come Christmas we might do like a limited run of vinyl, but that's not, official or anything.
Okay.
I would definitely love to. We just got to, see what demand is. You know how it goes.
All right. Well, you got one sale from me. I'll buy a vinyl copy. So
thank you. We'll give you one autographed, and I'll holler at Jimmy Carter, and he can autograph it.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And of course, the Well Read Comedy podcast going strong. Yeah.
Yeah, we just released a new episode today. Yeah. You can grab that on iTunes. Today we talked about a lady who jacked off dolphins for a living, so it's a riot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
She worked for NASA, and she jacked off dolphins, so it's right up our alley.
Sure.
That's a pretty broad fucking resume.
Well, do you want to... No, we're losing them again.
Fuck.
Man, they sound like drunk banjos, don't they?
They sure do. Well, Corey, I'll tell you what. While we're trying to tighten up that connection, since we're going to have you out here in a couple of weeks, do you want to come out to the whorehouse to do a guest set?
I'd love to, man. I'd absolutely love to do a guest set at the whorehouse.
Wetsuit or something.
I guess you bring the Dolphin, man. Really.
We're missing out on some good comedy here.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
We're missing out on some comedy gold. All right, well, go to wellreadcomedy.com. That's the website. Pick up the album. And thanks, guys, for coming on.
Thank you, Richard. I'm sorry they're breaking up right now. But, yeah, wellreadcomedy.com, WELLRED comedy.com. Thank you guys so much for having us on, man. I can't wait to see y'all at StarCast, dude, for real.
Well, come on the show when you're out here.
Yeah,
I will. If you'll have me, man, I'll
Absolutely.
do it.
Of course. Consider it done.
Of course. I like how Corey used the poor internet connection on the other end to just cut a solo deal real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, I just come in studio. Yeah, just me. Yeah,
Hey, man, pay for that extra Wi-Fi.
That's being Conrad Thompson's buddy. I'm a hustler.
Thanks to Trae Crowder and Drew Morgan and Corey Ryan Forrester for being our guests here on Phone Booth Fighting. Let's go to Pat Curran, Bellator fighter, who has a big fight coming up this weekend against A.J. McKee. I talked with him earlier today, and here it is. Pat Curran joining us on the line right now. The former two-time Bellator featherweight champion returns to action after a very long layoff this Saturday night as part of a huge card. Bellator 221 will stream exclusively on the DAZN app Saturday night. Pat, good to talk to you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And, man, it has been too long since we have seen you compete. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. You've had about a year-and-a-half layoff, and you're coming back Saturday night against A.J. McKee. So before we talk about the particulars of the fight, boy, just catch fight fans up on, the road back. And obviously you're feeling better and ready to compete, thankfully. But I know it's been a long layoff for you. So what's the road back been like for you?
Yeah. I've been out for over a year now since my last bout. And I'm just enjoying life along the way. I've had a couple injuries that kind of pushed me to the sidelines and forced me out of the gym. But, I was able to focus on other areas of my life, and I just, got to the point where I'm at today. So, the road back's definitely difficult, especially when you're dealing with injuries and debating if you want to continue to push through with this or not. But, overall, I just made that decision, and I understand that, this is what I'm really good at. I need to stick at what I'm really good at and continue to move forward with it. And, this is a very short opportunity, short career for a fighter, and I'm just trying to make the most of it while I still have that opportunity. And very thankful to do so. So, within the last year, I had a little bit of an injury that I had to deal with, but most importantly, I had my first son. He's just over a year old, and that completely changed my whole life in a positive way.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to...
I've been pretty much a father since my last fight.
Right, I was going to ask you about that, Pat, because I follow you on Instagram, and I've seen your son and all that. And of course, no fighter wants to deal with an injury or a long layoff, but it did occur to me. I thought, well, maybe one of the few silver linings of that would be that if you're going to have a newborn, that probably afforded you some time with him that you might not have had if you were training as usual that entire time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of forced me to stay home and spend time with the family. It forced me. I love being home and spending time with them, but with an injury, you're limited with what you can do. And I was working at the time. I did have a job, so it just everything kind of worked out. If I wasn't at work, I was home taking care of them, and just the injury was preventing me going to the gym and training like I needed to. So. Yeah, over that year, I was able to get healthy, get everything back together, and that's where I'm at right now, getting ready for the fight this weekend against AJ.
Good news there. Now let's talk about AJ McKee. This is your opponent, an undefeated Bellator fighter. I mean, maybe as I mean, he's not even a prospect anymore, but as young fighters go in Bellator, maybe no bigger name right now. But this is definitely going to be the toughest test of his career. He's 13-0. I know this fight was originally scheduled for the end of last year. So before that fight got scrapped due to injury, did you have a lot of time at that point to game plan for this fight? Did it kind of get that far, or is this? I mean, where was your? How far along? I guess I'm asking. Did you get with the game plan against AJ last time? And does that pretty much hold serve for this time around?
No, yeah, I really didn't think that far into it. You know, I was still suffering from an injury, and I thought my body was going to get back to a healthier state, and it just didn't. And I was working a full-time job at the time, and a new father, so I had a lot on my plate, and just being in the construction industry wasn't helping my injury. So after every day of work, and I tried to go to the gym, do a little rehab, or go and train. I wasn't comfortable with it, and eventually, made it worse. So unfortunately, I had to pull out of that fight, and I just kind of sat back and just thought about things. Wasn't sure if I was going to continue to move forward with it or not. And with that injury, kind of pushed me be more of a father, more of a family member, and then just kind of take care of the family at that time. And I put fighting to the side. So I really didn't think anything of a game plan or strategy leading up to it. I didn't really have enough time to, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna face AJ like I am right now. I wasn't sure if they're going to give me the opportunity again. So I just completely put everything else on the side. Didn't think about fighting at all. Just worried about my family and going to work, and that was pretty much my life for the whole year leading up to this point. But I am thankful that I am back in the swing of things again with Bellator. I'm taking this fight with AJ because I'm able to stay home, spend more time with the family, and do what I do best. I get to go to the gym and train and have fun. So I'm getting the best of both worlds right now. I'm at the gym working out, relieving stress, improving myself, and I get to come home and spend time with my wonderful family.
And what are your thoughts on AJ what are your thoughts on AJ as an opponent? Is he as you've watched him come up in the ranks, do you feel like, as I said earlier, I don't think anybody's doubting this is going to be the biggest test for him, but specifically where that's concerned, do you see areas you can challenge him in and test him in that maybe he really hasn't had to face yet?
Yeah, I think the big deciding factor of this fight will be experience. But my opinion on AJ as an athlete, as a fighter, I have nothing but respect for him. He's extremely talented. Every time I watch him, I'm very impressed by his performance. And he is a championship material. He's going to be a champion one day. I just don't think that is going to happen quite as soon as he thinks it's going to happen. But, he's taking the right steps forward. His team, Bellator, is building him the right way. They hand-fed him fighters all the way up to this point. And that, now that he's 13-0, he's getting, better and better opponents. And I'm the biggest test of his career so far. So it's a good sign for him, if he does win, that, he's ready for a title shot against Pitbull. And, if he's not, then obviously I believe I'm going to be next in line for that. So, but yeah, nothing but respect. Very, very talented fighters. And, when it comes to us fighting each other, I really believe that I'm better in every area. I'm not concerned about the striking. I'm not concerned about the rest. I'm not concerned about the jiu-jitsu. I just have to go in there, have fun, be relaxed, be myself, and, just perform.
You mentioned Patricio Pitbull, Pat, and that's a perfect segue to my next question because he is the reigning champion of your division. He is moving up in lightweight, moving up to lightweight Saturday night to challenge Michael Chandler for the lightweight title. So we've got a champ versus champ scenario there. Patricio's a guy that you have fought twice. I want to get your thoughts on that main event. First of all, how you see Patricio doing in that fight, and also your thoughts on a marquee champ versus champ matchup. I mean, this is a big night for the featherweight division to be represented, and a big night for the Bellator promotion where that's concerned. What are your thoughts on that main event?
Absolutely. I'm excited just like everybody else is. That is just that's fireworks waiting to happen. Both fighters are extremely exciting, very technical, very, very, very good at what they do, and they're champions for a reason. And I'm just curious to see how Pitbull's going to perform with an extra 10 pounds on his side. Chandler, he's a pretty big lightweight. Cuts down from he cuts 30, 40 pounds, I believe. And Pitbull, he's a very big featherweight, but that added 10 pounds. I want to see how it's going to affect his performance. It's hard to say who's going to win that because both have knockout potential, both have submission game potential. So it's going to be an exciting fight. It's really hard to choose which opponent's going to win.
Well, Pat, it's great to see you back, man. I think it's going to be a really exciting fight Saturday night, seeing you take on AJ McKee. Seems like it's the perfect time for your return. So glad you're back. Everybody can watch Pat and AJ as part of the undercard. The main event, of course, featherweight title holder Patricio Pitbull moves up in weight to take on Michael Chandler for his lightweight title. You can stream it exclusively on the DAZN app. Bellator 221 live from Rosemont, Illinois this Saturday night. Pat, best of luck in there. Good to talk to you again. Welcome back to the cage, and we look forward to seeing you in action Saturday. Appreciate the time.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me on your show again. You guys have a good day.